NEBC.
Thank you.
of all, for praying for me while I was down there. It was a really wonderful experience. It was an awesome trip. I got to spend some time visiting some friends as well and stopping to visit some family in Florida on my way home. Thank you. So I just thought I'd give you kind of a little bit of a rundown of a typical day that we had on the mission trip. So this picture right here, each night before we would go out, we would pack together our medications that we were going to be handing out the next day. Common medications that people take all the time. We treated a lot of chronic illnesses. Deworming medication, everybody got that. Vitamins, everybody got that. So packing up meds each night. And each morning we would get onto a bus and we'd drive out to one of the local villages called barrios. The landscape there was very beautiful. It's out in the mountains area, closer to the Haitian border. And we would go to the village and we would set up at the school, which was the center of the village. And we'd have a room where we'd have 3 nurses doing triage, intaking patients, and then we'd have a room for the physicians to work, and then we'd have a room for pharmacy for dispensing the medications. And at lunchtime we would take a break and we would have the opportunity to go out and interact with the people. Sorry. This village is called Naranja, and we were able to go out at lunchtime and kick the soccer ball around with the kids. Okay, let me try this one. Kick the soccer ball around with the kids, and we had a lady who had pipe cleaners, and she made little animals and crowns for the girls. And I had the Jesus Storybook Bible in Spanish. I was able to read Bible stories to the children. I'll go back for a minute. So it was a great blessing, and a time of being able to minister to people in Jesus' name, and to be able to share our hearts with them, and they were very appreciative, and it was a great blessing and a great experience for me to do that. I also got to spend some time with the Quinlans while I was down there, which was also a great blessing. And if you could be in prayer for them, Juana and John right now are running the deaf ministry at the deaf church, and Eric and James are in Georgia right now. Eric's on deputation, visiting the churches that support him and trying to raise additional support. It's the first time he's done it in the 10 years that they've been down there, so he hasn't had a raise in 10 years, so if you can pray for him that, not only for safety in his travels, but also that he would be able to raise some additional support. People think, oh, Dominican Republic, it's a third world country, everything's cheaper down there. Well, it's not. Santo Domingo, the capital where they are, because that's where most of the deaf are, the cost of living is about the same as it is here, so to not have a raise in 10 years is a bit challenging, so if you can pray for them that they would have success with that. And James, he is also going to be working on school. He starts taking some classes on Monday, so you can keep him in prayer. He's actually going to be staying behind when Eric leaves to go back to the Dominican Republic, and that's going to be a really hard time for him, so if you could keep him in prayer, as well as for, his family, who I'm sure will miss him, and just keep them all in prayer, and they send their well wishes to you, and they miss all of you, and thank you again for praying for me during that time.
Thank you, Jenny. All right. Good morning. If you would like a offering letter for tax purposes, I'm sure Chris Pacheco has Next Sunday is our men's encouragement meeting, 9 o'clock at the Watson's house. And Brother Don would like to thank all of you for your prayers and blessings upon him in the loss of his mom. The 23rd is ministry when we do the lunches and go to Life Care. So if you would like to be a part of that or have any questions, see Brother Al. Little Caesar's Pizza Kits for the fundraiser for the Academy. This is the last week, so if none of the little ones have seen you and you're interested, then you could see me after or see my wife. We have the information. And this is it sounds like a commercial, but really, the pizza kits that you get from there, the pizzas are awesome. Okay, like way better than if you went to the Little Caesars and got them. They're really very, very good. On a more serious notice, this past week, Brother Ben Nolly passed away. And some of you, I hope you know who Brother Ben Nolly was, a gentleman that sat over there for many, many, many years and has endured many, Brother Azu, I think, said 42 surgeries he has had in his lifetime. And so he's physically suffered a great deal, but always a testimony, always for the Lord, always smiling. And so he passed away, and so if you can pray for his family. Services will be here on Friday. So there's some information in the bulletin about that. So if you're able to make that, that would be a blessing for the family. And we have some folks that are in need of our prayers. I see Brother Darian and Carrie here. And they need our prayers as Darian has to go through some battles concerning his kidney. So pray for them, amen? And pray for each other. It should be a constant thing. Pray for one another, especially those who have physical needs and spiritual needs. Connie Schuler's family, pray for them as well, in need of strength from the loss of her brother, and continue to pray for Yolanda's dad as she cares for her father. So if you come forward, gentlemen will take our offering. And our missionary for the week is Peter Denisi. You can pray for Peter. I think I mentioned last week that Peter's also in Georgia. It seems like our missionaries are in Georgia. I like to be in Georgia too. There's some things that I like in Georgia. But anyway, Peter is waiting for permission to get a cochlear implant for his hearing. But because Peter had a heart attack a couple of years ago, there's all kinds of complications, and they've been there for I don't know how long, a couple months. They thought they were going to come over here. He was going to get the surgery and go back, but there's medical issues and there's all kinds of stuff. So pray for them. He really wants to be back in the Philippines with his son, who was Frank, who was running the ministry. So we'll pray for them as well. All right, let's pray. Lord, we thank you for Tammy going over there and being a blessing, getting a blessing. It's always a blessing when you go on a missions trip. Being a blessing to those folks, to the Quinlans, to encourage them, show them, Lord, and encourage them, as well as bring some love and encouragement, physically as well as spiritually, to the folks in the Dominican. So we're thankful that she was able to go, and she came back and is healthy. Lord, we think of the Nolly family, for Mary and the kids, Lord, the young ones, that you would just be with them in the loss of their dad. As Lord, I'm sure this is going to be a very, very difficult week for them. Just pray you give them grace and strength. Thank you, Lord, for the assurance that their dad is with the Lord, a man who stood fast in the faith for years, enduring afflictions that none of us probably could ever really understand. So we lift them up to you for your grace and your strength as well. We want to pray for Yolanda's dad, to help her as she cares for him, as he has many physical issues. We lift them up to you. Pray for the Schuler family, Lord, that you would just be with them, watch over them. I don't know if they're where they are now, if they're still gone, bring them back safely. And Lord, for Darian and Carrie, as Lord, they have to deal with a lot of things concerning Darian's health at this time. Lord, we love these folks. We wonder sometimes why things happen. But yet, Lord, we know in our heart deep down that you are a sovereign God. That does not, and that's our comfort and assurance, but also, Lord, physical issues and family issues weigh heavy on our hearts. So we're thankful that we can come come to you at this time. For your grace and your strength, and for Darian and Carrie, Lord, wisdom for the doctors to make wise decisions, and grace and strength for them, especially, Lord, to know what your will is concerning these things at this time. I want to ask you now, Lord, to bless our service today. And Lord, just thank you again for your love and your mercy and your grace. We pray these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Number 289, if you want to use your hymnals. Let's stand. We'll sing Hallelujah, what a Savior.
Hallelujah.
announcements after the first verse. You can get around and shake hands, and junior church will be dismissed.